Hey everybody, hope you're doing well out there. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. I just wanted to do a quick video today to finish out this flexibility and control section of the boom method. In the last couple of videos we covered series 1 and series 2, and this will be series 3 of 3. It's very much like the other series, so there's not a whole lot of exposition necessary. But before we get into it, I just wanted to take a moment and just remind everybody that although these videos are very much focused on different aspects of technique and physicality and the way in which we're creating an efficient way of playing the trumpet, it's really important to always remember why we're doing all of this. We're all trying to create beautiful music, we're all trying to communicate effectively, we're trying to share an experience with our fellow musicians and with our audience. And so whenever you're practicing technique, whenever you're practicing exercises, especially exercises that are geared towards physical skills, it's really important to maintain a sense of melodicism and musicality and a connection to the purpose behind what you're doing. So just a little reminder for everybody that not to get so caught up in the physical side of things that we lose sight of the point. With that said, the third section, or the third series in this flexibility and control section of the boom method, just expands on what's been happening in the last two series. So if you haven't seen the previous two videos, go back and check those out. But basically, it's an extrapolation on something from the Violin Flexibilities book, which is a great book. You should definitely get it. And basically, the idea here is that we're continuing with our interval of a fifth, and we're all sort of moving around a center point. What I like about the violin flexibilities is that everything sort of revolves around a center line for each key in each exercise. And in this one, we just extend what that is doing to all 12 keys and go all the way around the circle of fourths. So real quick, the basic exercise goes like this. So again, it's a starting from the tonic, let's call it, going up a fifth, then down a ninth, then up a fifth, up the ninth, and then back down the fifth, and kind of going through that series. Now, one of the reasons that I found expanding it to a symmetrical set of intervals, i.e., a fifth above and a fifth below, and traversing a ninth, is that sort of breaks the octave. A lot of times, trumpet and brass techniques are really sort of locked into the overtone series, since that's how the instruments function. But music doesn't really adhere to that. So for me, the idea of expanding slightly past the octave to the ninth, it was a way of bringing quote unquote large intervals sort of closer together and making, a lot of times trumpet players sort of have hang-ups about octave slurs and myself included, and practicing these slow flexibilities across the ninth makes the octave just feel really, really easy and really smooth. So then the four different ways that I recommended for the previous two series of practicing these apply here as well. So again, that's the sort of under over bend, etc. It's the mouthpiece swoops. So you're really getting that portamento, but you're trying to swoop the air to the center of the following pitch. then the sort of breath attacks with the air continuing in between. So the idea being, again, that the air is a continuous stream and the lips are sort of coming in and out of vibration, sort of bouncing off of that airstream the way like a sprinkler head bounces off a stream of water. And then just the tenuto tongue, making each note as connected as you can. And again, that's really like all about timing the tongue with the finger, either the downstroke or the upstroke, and making sure that the air and the embouchure are sort of synced up with that timing. Again, one of the things I was talking about, and I don't remember which previous video, but synchronicity in the various elements of your technique is really kind of a magic key for unlocking precision and efficiency. A lot of times, if students come into or are having difficulties with something, it can really be boiled down to an issue of timing. Some element of the technique is not in sync with the other elements. So anyway, focusing on that synchronicity is really key here. And then, like in Series 2, we take the intervals that we're dealing with here and we oscillate. Now, these are wider intervals in Series 2, and they're not always on the overtone series. So I recommend taking these a little bit slower than the oscillations in Series 2, and really kind of going for an easy alternation between the pitches. One of the ways you can achieve this, and I gotta shout out Jens Lindemann for introducing me to this way of thinking about it. But if you imagine blowing directly through the center point between the two outer notes of the interval, so like if that's a fifth, if you imagine blowing between those notes constantly and allowing the notes to oscillate around that fulcrum, it really saves you from doing a lot of this. It becomes this kind of rotating motion rather than this sort of flailing up and down. So that would be basically like this. There's a little motion in there, but it's not a ton. Right? And then when you go for the ninth, trying to keep that as close to the fifth as you can. Couple little gaps in there, but you get the idea. So then you kind of take this little series around the circle of fourths. One of the things I hadn't really mentioned in the previous series discussions is that each series moves through all 12 keys in a different way. So Series 1 starts kind of in the middle. I think it starts on G in the staff, and it sort of spiders out, meaning the next one would be F sharp, and then the following one would be A flat, and then F, and then A, and then E, and then B flat. So you're expanding your range gradually in both directions, alternating. Series 2 starts at the top of where the exercises go and goes down incrementally by half step. The idea there being that since the range that we're dealing with in Series 2 is a little more extreme, you're starting from like a place of fast moving air, firm embouchure, and over the course of the exercise you're maintaining that fast air and firm embouchure, but you're gradually relaxing into what the center is as you descend. And then in the last one, we're going around the circle of fourths, especially since we're dealing with these tonic dominant relationships, in the fifths. So you kind of keep resolving to the next key as you go around. And again, kind of riffing on the idea of like maintaining that connection to your own musicality and to melodicism and harmonic understanding. One of the things I tried to do throughout the book is incorporate as few exercises that are centered on trumpet specific concerns, such as traversing the overtone series. Everything is laid out more in terms of keys or in terms of chords, or harmonic progressions, rather than sort of forcing us to deal with the trumpet. Is the idea is that we're taking our trumpet technique and practicing it in a more practically musical way. So happy practicing. I hope that was useful for you. The next episode will deal with the following section, expansion. So if you have any questions, please send them my way. Excuse my hoarseness in the voice. Yesterday, I recorded my very first punk vocals, so hopefully that'll be out soon with my band Burning Ghosts. So if you haven't heard Burning Ghosts, check them out. They're on my YouTube page. Subscribe at YouTube. Follow me at Instagram at Dan_Rosenboom or Dan Rosenboom on Facebook. These videos will be up there, and hope you're all safe and healthy, and we'll see you real soon.